On today's podcast, we'll be talking about potential hazards, so stay tuned.
Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. If you're a seasoned vodcast viewer, this vodcast is going to be different from most that you watch. It's based around exactly what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money, so each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the vodcast.
In the context of factories and warehouses, a hazard is typically defined as any potential source of harm or adverse health effect on a person or persons. Now, in these environments, hazards can be quite diverse, reflecting various activities and materials in such settings. There are several categories of hazards to consider, and here are 5 to get you started. By all means, not the end-all be-all, but a great place to start. The first one is something that you can definitely have a control over, and that is at least the 2 that we're using, physical hazards. And the reason I say the 2 that we're using, these are 2 behavioral things that come straight to mind. One is negligence, ignoring safety protocols, not using protective equipment, or carelessness while operating machinery. And the other one is horseplay. Inappropriate behavior or roughhousing in the workplace can lead to accidents and injuries. And this one physical hazard, at least these 2 categories of physical hazards, are 2 things that you can definitely control. There's another one that we'll mention here in our list, but this is one that is, so far as physical hazards go, you definitely want to watch, because if it's something you can control, you can definitely have an effect on safety and hazards in the workplace. The second one is going to be chemical hazards. Now, this is going to refer to substances that can harm you through exposure, inhalation, or skin contact. Chemicals in factories and warehouses can range from cleaning products to industrial solvents, and you want to make sure that you know all of the handling and all the rules and regulations concerning chemical hazards. The third is going to be a biological hazard. Now, these can include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and any other living organisms that can cause acute and or chronic infections, and usually by entering the body through an open wound or inhalation. So it's going to be very, very important that you wear your PPE, especially your gloves, your glasses or goggles, and your breathing equipment. If you have something where you are supposed to be wearing a mask or any sort of a filter or a breathing apparatus, make sure that you always have your skin covered and that you're not either getting anything in your eyes and or your lungs that could be damaging. The next thing is one of those things that you can control, and that's an ergonomic hazard. This is going to be arising from physical factors that can cause musculoskeletal injuries. For example, repetitive movements, manual handling, poorly adjusted workstations, and poor body positioning that can all be an ergonomic hazard, something that you can definitely control and make sure that you do. And the last thing is going to be a psychosocial hazard. This is going to be like stress, violence, other workplace organizational factors that can have an impact on mental health and the well-being of workers. These 5 things, and of course there's various parts to each one of these and many that we didn't cover. These are going to be a great place for you to get started. These are only a list of potential hazards that you might encounter. Your facility might have specific hazards that you need to be aware of. As with all our tips, please be sure to follow the particular guidelines of your facility. In a regular workplace setting, it's crucial to identify these hazards to implement safety measures and training effectively, thus reducing the risk of accidents and health issues. Regular risk assessments and adherence to safety regulations is fundamental in managing these hazards. Thank you for being part of another episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. Until we meet next time, have a great week and stay safe.
Before moving on, here's a word from one of our sponsors. If you've ever been to or worked in a warehouse, you know just how important safety is to both management and staff. It's almost impossible to go 10 steps without seeing safety tape, angles, signs, and or safety products. It's these items that show us how to be safe and avoid danger in the workplace. And if you're looking for the best products to make this happen, look no further than Mighty Line. Mighty Line floor signs and floor markings offer the best industrial products out there. We're proud to have Mighty Line as the official floor sign and floor marking company for the Warehouse Safety Tips podcast and site. Go to mightylinetape.com/safety tips to request a sample pack of their incredible safety signs and floor markings. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. If you visit warehousesafetytips.com, you'll find the show notes for this episode and access to all of our blog posts, previous podcasts, advertiser information, and much more. Thank you for listening to Warehouse Safety Tips and have a safe day.